Kerry O'Neill with Malibu HD Power News. Here we are today with the mayor of Malibu, Pamela Ulick, to discuss what are the limits of the paparazzi in the city. Pamela, what would you like to see as an outcome of this meeting today?
Well, today there's really three main points we're going to be making. Number one is that we enforce the laws to the fullest extent possible. Number two is where gaps exist in the law. We're hoping to work with other community leaders to see if whether or not there might be legislation that's appropriate, especially around schools. For example, I've been hearing that a lot of the paparazzi are actually taking pictures of the kids while they're playing in the playground, makes the kids uncomfortable. I had a report of a third grader coming up to me that she's trying to protect her friends, so we're really worried about the kids that don't have the tools. They don't have a choice to show up at school or not. They have to be there. It's compulsory education. So that's an area we're looking at. And then licensing is going to have to be further explored. The third point, I guess, that we're trying to make today is to empower the public. And we're going to try and put out a citizen's guide so people know what's acceptable behavior and what's not acceptable. I'm hoping that they can go back and if a person runs you over to get a picture of somebody, the public will know, hey, wait, you can't do that to me. Get out there, get empowered, use your cell phone, take a picture of the paparazzi or whoever ran you over, call the police, file the charges, and make sure people know when they come to Malibu, everyone deserves to be protected. Nobody should be run over, period.
And we understand that federal statutes allow in the public domain, such as shopping centers and restaurants. Does that apply in Malibu as well? Paparazzi taking photos inside of restaurants?
If it's private property, you can ask the expert. We have a scholar here. It's my understanding that if it's private property, you do have a reasonable expectation of privacy, and you can be asked to leave. It's part of our law. That's why we become America. If you have private property rights that maybe you won't have in a public school or at a public sidewalk. So the legislation that was drafted would look at the public sidewalk issue.
Okay, so are you satisfied with the plan to solve the issue right now?
I think it's still being developed. We really want to hear from the community because a lot of these laws, we may not need to do any more laws. We're trying to really empower the people so we don't have to draft another law. And hopefully the paparazzi will know where the lines are, what's acceptable behavior, what's against the law, and what's allowed. So hopefully the laws will not be necessary.
Just the effectivity of being properly informed of what they can and cannot do.
And there's a lot more regular, everyday people out there who are good people, law-abiding people, than there are aggressive paparazzi. And some paparazzi do their act within the law. Look at you, you're very respectful, and we appreciate that. So it's not meant to be for every paparazzi. It's only those that are very aggressive, that have no fear or respect for the law.
In addition, have you also explored the side of what is the actual value of the paparazzi to the entertainment industry, and is that in any way being challenged in this issue?
Well, I think there are going to be people speaking today that believe that the paparazzi should have carte blanche, and that, and we'll hear from them as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Pamela.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Here we are with Pepperdine law expert Barry McDonald. Barry, what are the legal issues that are going to be considered today in regards to paparazzi limits in the city?
Well, as Mayor Ulick just said, there's going to be three basic proposals. One, to examine the application of the existing laws to aggressive paparazzi behavior. Second is where there are gaps in those existing laws, to look at perhaps ordinances that may be necessary, if they are necessary, to control aggressive paparazzi behavior. And third, to empower citizens to deal with aggressive behavior by informing them of their essentially rights under the law and self-help measures that they can resort to. Now, the legal issues in terms of what I'm Pepperdine Law School and myself are informally advising Mayor Ulick with respect to are what sort of First Amendment issues are involved in placing regulations on the paparazzi, and that's why I'm here as kind of an informal advisor on those issues, because I write in the area of First Amendment law.
Okay, and did Ken Starr weigh in any way, expressing some of his personal opinions about the issue?
Well, Dean Starr, of course, he's dean of Pepperdine University, and he was on Pepperdine's team, and he still is, with respect to providing informal advice to the mayor. And you asked if he provided personal opinions. No, I don't think he did. He provided professional consultation the same way that I am in terms of advising the mayor on the First Amendment issues associated with these cases.
And in regards to what's actually on the books legally, both federally and state and citywide, was there a large amount of research required to get to the actual criteria that Pamela Ulick is bringing up here?
Our library, we charged them with the project of compiling for the mayor's review and purposes all the existing laws that exist at the local level and that exist at the state level that could be brought to bear on paparazzi behavior that does result in harms in some cases. So our library performed a massive compilation of those laws, and we provided that to the task force.
Okay, thank you very much. We really appreciate your interest in this matter, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thank you.
Hans, we had a chance to interview Pamela Ulick and the attorney from Pepperdine, and could you please capsulize what you stated at the meeting today?
People in Malibu have a very justifiable fear of these paparazzi. They drive like idiots. They're illegal all the time. Some of them are high on drugs. There are existing laws to deal with that. The problem in Malibu is we don't have a policeman on every corner. In Beverly Hills, at LAX, they're using the existing laws that already are on the books, and anytime there's a problem, they can be there within seconds. No matter how many laws in Malibu are drafted and put on the books, there's never going to be a cop on every corner out here. That's the nature of living in Malibu. And the problem is that they're trying to make up for the rural nature and the fact that there's not a cop on every street corner by drafting another ordinance. And this ordinance would prohibit me, as a photographer, from going and shooting the JV football team practicing at Malibu High School, because I would fall within this overbroad, unconstitutional ordinance. The city of Malibu and this entire paparazzi ordinance, the committee, the whole group up there, has fallen for a line from Pepperdine University where Dean Kenneth Starr has an agenda. And Dean Starr went before the U.S. Supreme Court last year and argued that silly case called Bong Hits for Jesus, which was a silly little case about a student who held up a banner that had a dopey slogan, and the school disciplined the kid. It went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, where Judge Kenneth Starr stood and argued that the state has a compelling interest to maintain order in public schools, and that out-trumps people's First Amendment rights to speak in a school. Well, now they want to take it one step further and have that restriction placed on the sidewalks in front of the school. What's next? Pepperdine has, in the past year, held a conference of conservative legal scholars aimed at gathering support for their theory that the First Amendment to the United States Constitution is a quaint piece of legal architecture that shouldn't be applicable in the 21st century, where we have a war on terror. Well, keep your war of terror off Morning View Drive, because you know what? We have existing laws to deal with these scum, and don't tread on me.